Israel has been threatening to respond in a rather massive way to Iran's missile barrage of October the 1st, which was in itself a response to previous Israeli assassinations of the leader of Hezbollah, of a Hamas political leader in Tehran, and so on. So how will that be resolved? Will Netanyahu now hold off on an Israeli response? If he doesn't, and I have no indication that he will not go forward with some sort of retaliation, then the cycle of escalation is likely to continue. President Biden has been talking about a ceasefire for a very long time, but he's been unwilling to put the sort of pressure on Israel that might help convince the Israelis, at least, to scale back. Instead, we've seen the war get broader and wider.
To what extent could this even embolden Netanyahu or improve his standing domestically as he looks at Iran, as he looks at Hezbollah?
Netanyahu doesn't appear to have any interest in the end to the war. As long as the war goes on, he is prime minister, and he is not going to have to face corruption charges. He's not going to have to go to jail. He's not going to have a reckoning with the Israeli people for the intelligence failures of a year ago that led to Hamas's assault on Israel. I don't see that he has any interest in stopping, at least not until U.S. elections. Perhaps if Kamala Harris wins, he might see it in his interest to begin to wind this down. But if it's Donald Trump, I think all bets are off.
Could this, however, in the coming months set up, in fact, new expectations from the U.S., this being seen as a kind of watershed moment that could ultimately lead to more tensions with Netanyahu and Israel?
Again, I think it depends on what happens in our elections. I know that many American officials are unhappy with Netanyahu and feel that he has been as much of an obstacle to peace as Yahya Sinwar was. If Harris wins, that will give Biden an opportunity as lame duck president to do perhaps some controversial things that will not be necessarily a burden on Kamala Harris when she takes office, if she takes office next year. So that's a window of opportunity for a number of de-escalatory actions, not just regarding Gaza, but also Lebanon and also Iran. But we have to get through our elections first. And as I said, if Trump wins, I'm afraid that's just going to embolden Bibi Netanyahu even further.